Alright, well, welcome back to Exhaust Sports Auto. My name is Kevin, and I'm just here to make this quick little video talking about why the Lexus GS pretty much failed or never really sold the way it was supposed to, and that's kind of why Lexus stopped producing it. Now, many of you probably already know why it's not being made anymore. It's because nobody bought it. That's the main reason why, and that's what I'm here to talk about. Doesn't just pertain to just the GS, but it's just kind of the general trend of new cars and what people nowadays want, and especially what new, more affluent luxury car buyers want in a vehicle. So let's talk about it. So the GS, I've actually done a few reviews on the GS products, and recently I just drove an older one. It was a 2004, and I've actually done 3 separate videos on the 2013 to 2015 GS 350s, both the F Sport and the regular ones. I even went as far as to comparing the GS, a regular GS, not F Sport. It was a 2015 to a Porsche Panamera. And you know what? That car was pretty much identical in capabilities and handling and driving to that Porsche Panamera, which is a significantly more expensive vehicle, both used and new. It's like it doesn't even compare or compete with the Panamera, yet it held its own, and actually the differences in driving were so negligible. I mean, that car was incredible to drive. So clearly Lexus knows how to create a great driving car. Now, okay, screw the mainstream and most of these car reviewers and stuff that don't get it and don't understand and just brush the car off, because that also has a little bit to do with it. Yeah, obviously, car reviewers never give Lexus the time of day. They never give it the review that it properly deserves, and nobody really seems to get it. Whatever. So the bad press doesn't really help it at all. Mainly, the biggest competition that the GS has isn't from the outside parties. It's actually within its own company, the ES and the RX, which outsell the GS in spades. But why does it outsell it in spades? Well, I just got done saying that the GS, especially for 2013, 2015, is as capable as a Porsche Panamera. Yet, it never really sold. Now, granted, 2013 and 2015, that was a good year, I guess, for the Lexus GS, selling about 20,000 units a year for those particular 3 years. But here's the thing, the 5 Series and the E classes, they all sell in like the 50, 60, 70,000 unit range, usually annually. That's how much it sells. And I'm getting these numbers from carsalesbase.com because they do a good job of compiling all these numbers. So you can kind of check those out if you want to. But people buy luxury cars for the prestige, for the name that's in front of it. And if at all possible, if a new luxury car buyer, which typically leases a car, can get a BMW or Mercedes for the same price as a Lexus, they will most definitely go with that option, honestly. And that's why the 5 Series and the E-Class, even though the MSRP prices are significantly higher than a GS, people are going to go out and get the 5 Series and the E-Class if they possibly can, if it leases out similar to the GS. The GS has never really leased out that well, so that never really helped its cause at all. And the 5 Series, BMW usually does a great job, discounting their cars, giving good lease deals, all that stuff. Mercedes is just an astronomically expensive car, yet it sells in spades. I never really understood it. A lot of people think that these cars are significantly better than a Lexus. Honestly, they're not, but they still sell anyway. BMW and Mercedes don't sell well because it's a better car. It sells well because the badge has more merit behind it, has more cachet behind it. That's why. So there's that. But Lexus is also a pretty baller pimp vehicle. It's got some prestige behind it. It's got some flex value behind it. You know what I'm saying? But to flex with a Lexus, you can just do that in the ES. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to get a GS. And here's the other thing. Jokes aside, all a new Lexus buyer truly cares about is pure comfort and pure quietness. You know what? The ES and the RX both offer that. So if a new buyer, in their 40s and 50s, go into a Lexus showroom and they ask for like a new Lexus car and they see the ES, it's like 40 something thousand dollars, and then they're like, oh, we have this GS, it's rear wheel drive and all that stuff, and they're just gonna be like, oh, why would I pay $10,000 more for that when I can just get this ES? It has the same badge on it, doesn't it? It does the same job. So that's why the ES, let's just look at these numbers here. For the GS, I mean, it's like a miracle for it to sell like 20, 30,000 units a year annually. The kind of best years. Honestly, that second generation GS, kind of like the one that I reviewed, that 2004. In 2005, it sold about 33,000, in the early 2000s, you know, it was getting 26,000, 24,000, 17,000. You know, the second generation was very much loved. You know, that early 2000s, that's when people still kind of cared about driving, so there's that. But, you know, the ES, obviously, in the 50s and 60,000 range, and even 82,000 was sold at one particular year. The RX always sells in near six figures or over six figures, like 103,000, 107,000. From 2013 and up, it's never sold under 100,000 units. So this is what people value in a new Lexus car. Only the Lexus freaks on the YouTube comment section care about drivability and all that stuff. It's just like the younger people or the people that actually care about reliability, those people are in the used car market. The people that are ballers and pimps, they just go out and lease like a new one and just throw it away in 3 years. They can actually afford to buy two of them, throw one off of a cliff, and then continue to drive the other one. They don't care about reliability. That's the last thing on their mind. So when buying a new car, why the hell would they get a GS when they can get a new 5 Series? You know, it just makes absolutely no sense. But the Lexus freaks get very upset because now there's not as many options in the used car market because the GS never sold that well. But it was an amazing driving car. And, you know, 2019 when that new ES came out, dude, 2019 and up ESs, I mean, it makes almost no sense to get a GS, honestly. Like the plush ride, the interior, you know, the quietness of the ES, it is literally LS levels. It is like a flagship car. Only detriments are it's front wheel drive and the rear seats don't fold down, and it just doesn't handle the best. But in the United States, where half that stuff doesn't even matter, the ES totally prevails. And in this SUV crazed world, obviously the RX and the NX are going to crush everything. So there's that. And something like an ES, it's so huge, it undercuts the competition by so much. In the under $50,000, ES and RX are just gonna completely, they have like a little monopoly right there. Over $50,000, almost everybody is going to go German or European. Nobody's gonna be looking at these Japanese cars or like these Genesis cars. Nobody cares about that. It doesn't matter how good you make those cars. People are brand whores and they want the Beamers and the Benzes. And also further competition, the IS. Lexus makes the IS 350 F Sports and all that good stuff. It's a little bit smaller, but it's still a usable four-door car. People are just going to go buy that because it's a little bit cheaper than the GS. So there's also that if they want that rear-wheel drive fun. So GS, I mean, Lexus kind of killed it off themselves with their own competition inside the brand. And obviously, brand whores are just going to go German anyway because they're rich, they don't care about reliability. Only those in the used car market care about that. And we don't really care about driving really at all. And that's kind of the last point, especially affluent people. They have showed us what they actually want in a car, and it is pure comfort. They don't want a rough riding sports car or any of this stuff. In 45-mile-per-hour driving roads, all people care about is comfort. And you know what? Something like an ES completely excels in that. And that's why that car and the RX are like bread and butter vehicles for the company. And if you owned a company, would you make products that won't sell and don't make you any profit or any money? No, you wouldn't. So that's what these car manufacturers have to do, and they've realized what people want. It's a complete shame. You know, people stopped caring about driving. It's not like the early 2000s. People want all the electronics, all the crap, and you know, usually the European cars, they are like, they have all that. You know, they got the interior lighting. Everybody always says this in my YouTube videos, and like the LC500 and the LS500. They like the, you know, the Mercedes like nightclub lights that, you know, it's got going on. I don't even know. People love the gimmicks. That's the thing. Lexus is pretty much free from all the gimmicks. And I absolutely love their performance cars. Like I mentioned, the GS is great, but also all their F cars. I obviously own the LC500. These are no gimmicks. These are phenomenal, just great performance cars that are practical to use every day out in the street, but it has no value with it, because that's the other thing. Once you go high dollar Lexus, like with their performance cars, like something like a GSF costs 90 grand, obviously the LC500 is a six-figure car, people are just going to naturally, again, anything over 50K, they're going to go German because the brand has more merit behind it. The spec sheets are superior with the European car, all that stuff. That's what crushes every other company's kind of, you know, performance cars. Performance cars are run by spec sheets and not the way they drive. So European cars, American cars, they have spec sheets in spades, and that also helps sell the cars. Lexus cares more about the feel and all that stuff. Unfortunately, you can't put feelings on a spec sheet. So again, journalists alike, they all just brush it off. Nobody cares about Lexus performance at all. And we're once again left with a German-ridden society, basically. You know, in Europe, it's all the European cars that are being sold there. Lexus is like a dying thing over there in Europe, so it's like a very rare car, honestly. So in the rest of the world, they just don't care about Japanese cars and reliability. It's the last thing on people's minds, because if somebody wants a reliable car, they're just going to go get a Toyota Camry. You know what I'm saying? Like, a luxury item is just that. It's a luxury. You don't need it. Reliability is something that you need, and honestly, it's kind of a weird thing to mix luxury cars and reliability together when all these cars are kind of throwaway cars anyway. So there is that. But ending on a more positive note, I think they are going to bring the GS back. I think they're going to base it off of the LS platform, like the LS/LC GAL platform. So we'll see. You know, if they bring it back, they bring it back. But honestly, as it sits, there's no real practical reason for them to bring it back. But I obviously would like them to. Just don't neuter it, make it into a real driving car. And I don't know, maybe people will come around to it. We'll see. Honestly, I highly doubt it. It's a very pessimistic way of looking at it, but it's just the reality. Nobody buys a Lexus for its driving capabilities, unfortunately. So there's that. But let me know your thoughts down below. Would you be excited to see another GS back? I mean, what makes you like the GS so much? Is it the rear-wheel drive dynamics? Is this GS something that you're really looking to buy in the used car market? And if you already own one, let me know how you like it. And with that, thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.